she's been sitting there with her tongue out for the longest time. You guys, today's topic's a big one. And the title, you have to read it like this. Are we sure the narcissist can't change? Yeah, I wanted to turn it on. She was panting, but she just drank water. We're inside. It's AC. It's getting hot here now. But anyway, she was sticking her tongue out. I wanted you guys to see. The reason you have to read the title that way is because we've all been in that situation where, and oh God, it's palpable. I can remember it. I can remember it like it was right now. And I kept watching all these videos on how the narcissist can't change. And I kept looking for a video to prove those videos wrong. Because I kept saying to myself, the title of this, which is, are you sure they can't change? Because you're in it. And you're listening to the love bombing when they're trying to come back at you. You're listening to them love bombing during the hoovering process. Whatever cycle you're in, if they're trying to convince you that they can change and they're trying to make promises and bribe you with all kinds of ideas of what's going to happen in your life, and you want to believe that those things are true. You want to believe he can change. And the thing is, I did too. And you can't believe that he can't not change. Because this person's in front of you being charming and illustrious with their wording, and you're still in love with this person. You thought you fell in love with this person. You're just starting, the mask is just maybe starting to fall off. You don't realize yet that they're not that person at all. You're not there yet. So you're still in love. They're coming back at you with the love language and everything you've wanted to hear. You're hoping they can change and that they mean it. I get it. I get this sentiment. I do. And I held on hoping and ignored all those videos that told me he wouldn't change and he couldn't change, and I ignored all of them. And I'm going to unpack for you now why we're going to go through this, because you need to hear this, young people, whether you're young in age or going through this right now. Let's go, because I get very concerned for people who hold on to the idea that the narcissist can change. Not only can they not clinically, they try to study for a year. I haven't looked it up in a long time. 1968 maybe. Non-responsive to behavioral therapy, non-responsive to psychotherapy, non-responsive to medication. Nothing changed the person. Now, here's why. Well, there's a bunch of reasons why, but the narcissistic personality disorder, they tell you, I'll save you the research, which is how I started this channel. If you recall, many of you are with me from day one, so you remember my beginning videos. I told you I had watched upwards, it's over 1,000 now, of videos on this topic, and I started to break it down into my segments with my experience interwoven, right? So in everything that I saw, everything said he wouldn't change. So at first that brought me such despair. I was so despondent, and I thought, then I started to say to myself, well, maybe he's not a narcissist then. If somebody who's defined by this disorder can't change, and I need him to be able to change, well then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's not this. Did you do that? I did that. This man is a classic narcissist from a mile away. You can tell by how people mistreat people. Normal people don't just go around doing that and getting glee from it and doing it again and again and lying about it and faking that they love you. Like, normal people don't behave that way. So if you have honestly defined your cat as a narcissist person with narcissistic personality disorder, because there's the adjective of narcissist that someone loves themselves, like it began with. That can still just be used, I suppose, as a light adjective in that regard. We're talking about someone with the disorder. These are traits that they all have, and one of them is they can't change. Now, that's the clinical side of it. Now, why can't they change? This is where I started to infuse my own sentiments, and it helped me get through the despondency of learning that they'll never change. I started to realize it was a relief for me. It was a relief for me. It released me from any pressure in thinking I wanted him to, or thinking it was me, or thinking that I could have made him change, or thinking that I didn't wait long enough, or say the right thing, or whatever. Which, that's our next outline, is a lot of people wonder, is there stuff I could have done different? That's a whole other video. But when it comes to them changing, here's the thing. They don't want to change. If someone non-disordered, for example, goes to therapy, I believe in therapy for everybody. I make a standard joke. Every single person on earth, whether they get them or not, can benefit from braces and therapy, because nobody's teeth are perfect and nobody's mind is perfect. That's what I feel. Whether you get them or not, but everyone can benefit from both. My friends think that's funny. I thought I'd share it. If a normal non-disordered, by that I mean goes to therapy, right? I've done it, and I learned, I was told, you're codependent. I was told, you're okay. So then you learn that about yourself. You read about it. You hopefully try to fix that about yourself in your life. If it bothers you, and you learn that truth about yourself, I mentioned that recently. I don't remember which video it is. But if you don't like your own truth, you can change it. Right? We all know that. Power of change. Power of free will. Does the narcissist have it? Yes, they do have the power of free will. So then you might say, well, then why can't they change? They don't want to. They don't see anything wrong with them. And before you say, because I said this too, I heard that in a video and I was like, well, then I'll make him see. And I will not stop saying words until he understands. Do you know what I ended up doing? Playing tennis against the wall by myself. That's what it felt like. And I came up with everything. I was in the thick of watching all the videos, learning everything, making outlines, making flowcharts, making notes. Months before I started this channel, I was doing all of that. And then the channel idea hit me that New Year's Eve I told you about. And I said, I'm not going to stop talking about this from tomorrow every day. And boom, here we are. Because I wanted people to not hit their head against a wall trying to figure things out. And this is one of them. They feel a part of narcissistic personality disorder is they feel they are grandiose, better than me, better than you, better than everybody. Not just in the narcissistic adjective, I love myself way. In a disordered way, they have this grandiose view of their life that they elevate amongst the mass. That's why they don't feel connected to anybody. It's a terrible way to go through life. So with that view comes the entitlement that they feel to anything, anytime, anywhere, as much as they want. Without excuse, without apology, without guilt, without conscience. All of these qualities are in clinically this disorder. I'm not calling my narcissist names. I'm saving you the time. This is what all of those videos that I've learned, this is what they tell you. So a person, and of course they don't have empathy, that doesn't change. Those things don't change. The narcissist isn't going to wake up like Ebenezer Scrooge woke up and knew stuff. That doesn't happen to a narcissist. No matter how much I explained, and yes, every situation is different, but I'll just tell you everything no matter how much I explained, no matter how much I talked, no matter how much I thought this or that, the videos are right. They are absolutely correct. The person who changes, a person that morphs, a person that evolves, is someone who wanted that. Someone who didn't like their own truth and sought to change it. Someone who something about themselves didn't sit well and they wanted to improve it. So you seek help, you read self-help books, you talk to friends, family, and you fix it. Hopefully, a narcissist wouldn't even have the first clue to look anything up. They don't think they're broken. They don't know the word narcissists. They might know the adjective again, but no. In fact, the experts tell you, I did a bad thing in the industry, I think. They advise you do not tell your narcissist the words, the information, the education, the cycle, the verbiage. They're like, don't even give them that information. They don't even let them stay in the dark. Now, there are some narcissists who have channels. So I'm not saying that some of them aren't educated, but I know my narcissist is never going to type into online and figure out a disorder he has. But I told him. I told him all about it. And now what does that do? That now gives him words to look up, and that now gives him a chance to have a defense against that for his next victim. It gives him more information than he probably should have had. So they say don't do that. They're like, don't tell them. Just leave them, is basically what all the videos say. I never tell anyone to leave anybody. But if you're hanging in there waiting for him to change, if you think, let me put it this way, if you think right now in your brain, wherever you are in the cycle, I'm leaving you if you don't change. If that is going through your brain, let this video save you some time. And maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe you're not ready to not. I'll be blatantly honest with you. At one point, I said to myself out loud, I said, I'm just not ready to not have him in front of me yet. I was used to him, his presence, his humor, his movements, his voice. I just wasn't ready. So even though I was not believing what he was saying, even though I knew, I think I held out hope that he would change, though, till the very, 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 very end. That was like the last thing. I really just kept, I think that's what keeps you talking to them. It's very, very normal. And you feel yourself doing, you don't even feel yourself doing it, but you are doing it. You're really holding out hope that they'll change. But if somebody doesn't have a problem with the way that they are, if somebody has no knowledge that they are even anything to be fixed, they don't know they're disordered maybe. They have no idea. Then how are they going to get fixed? He thought he was fine. And the most that I would get out of my narcissist, and maybe you can relate to this, is he'd say, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. Like chalking it up to bad behavior, but not looking at the rest of the cycle. Cheating is one part of it. There's a bunch of different patterns they go through from beginning to end that scream narcissistic personality disordered behavior. That person goes through life that way, again and again and again. They get a rush out of it, the whole cycle. They were disordered from very young. I found one in hundreds of videos where the guy said, I really wish I could tell you that they could change. And I really wish that I could figure out a way to help them. So he was even, but they'd have to really dig deep way back into why they became this way. And there's no narcissist with this disorder that would be that interested in doing that. They would have to admit their faults. The whole thing is in their life is they walk around with a mask on so that they don't have any faults. They present themselves to you in the best light possible so you fall in love with them. They get a rush out of you swooning. They get a rush out of devaluing you. They get a rush out of getting new supply. They get a rush out of devaluing her. My pronoun is he, for you put your own. You know what I mean? So why would they change that? So are we sure the narcissist can't change? I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I know this moment stinks. I'm telling you, I didn't believe it. And I tried everything. I'll appeal to his sensibility. I'll appeal to his heart. I'll appeal to his intellect. I'll explain to him how dysfunctional this. Surely he won't want to be this once I explain it to him. Surely he'll want to change this once I tell him. The most I got was like a smirk, or why do you always want to talk so much? Why do you always have so many questions? Oh, more questions? Oh, you want to read old newspapers? And he would be trying to come back once a month, and he had a girlfriend elsewhere. Well, I'm sure that the way that I was always never shutting up, always never, and telling him to go away, and telling him, no, we're not going to be together, and refusing anything he was trying to come at me with, eventually he stayed gone. Because all I would do is talk about the disorder, and he just wasn't interested. Now, if somebody non-disordered kept getting told the same thing, say they have a monthly visit with a friend, and every time they were with that friend said, you know, you hurt my feelings last week on the phone, you did that thing again, you dismissed me, or whatever it is, or you insulted me, or you didn't know. A non-disordered person might go, really? My God, I am so, or please always tell me and I'll never do it again, or I'll try not. If I do it again, by all means tell me. Like, there would be a conversation about it. There would be an interest to fix it. A narcissist, it's a blank stare, dead eyes, and they just can't wait for you to shut up. He didn't gain anything. He wasn't gaining anything. Like, I was talking to him like I was talking to someone who was going to receive this information about themselves and then go on and correct it. Who was going to want the information about themselves to go on and correct it. They don't. They just don't. They're just fine. And miserable, deep down inside, full of self-hatred. So they have no interest in fixing that. They think that they're just going to be destined to go through life that way. And I think many times they convince themselves that their life is a hootin' hollering parade of fun. But deep down inside, all the videos tell you too, they're full of self-hatred, self-loathing, they self-sabotage, and they're miserable every day. That doesn't sound like a fun life to me, what they go through. Even if they think they're getting some kind of twisted rush, regardless of what's part of the cycle that they're in, rush from love bombing, rush from devalue, rush from cheating, it doesn't matter. That's a miserable life. You can look at that and see that. Many of them end up alone because they've never established anything real for any length of time. Yes, I am sorry to inform you, we are sure the narcissist can't change. I'm so sorry. But chin up, because you can break away and have a happy life. Please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share, and we will see you next time.